Me, oh Midas. I mean, the first MKS weekend kicks off and we see a lot of competitive racing at the top, and we see King Midas both showing off why he was a number one pick, as well as showing off some of the concerns that people had with him in MK1. So, I mean, dive into what you saw in the top four racers, because there's a lot going on there and a lot of drama.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and I had some question marks about Midas going first for all that money. But he egg on my face. He shut me up in that first invitational, and you kind of reinforced, I guess, the Saudi king and his views that Midas was the shiny toy to get.
Oh boy, fun to play with.
Because he looked. I remember the invitational started off and it was Royal Raceway and no one could catch the kid.
Unbelievable.
He was, we saw Pam, who she was a bit of a surprise with how she was racing, but she just could not catch up to Midas. And I think Midas got hit with a blue shell. It didn't even matter. Yeah. And then, we were on, Yoshi's circuit, which Pam guaranteed a victory. Yeah. And Midas held firm, fed her a banana right before the finish line.
Oh, that was a sweet finish.
It was a sweet finish. But it's, Midas looked good. He looked fast. And then, we had, I don't know, the phrase that comes to mind is the island of misfit toys when you think Pam, Slam, and Shell. Those three, they were battling for the podium, and there's just something off with, just like their face and their expressionless. And, I think in the highlight package, Mike, you referred to the shit-eating grin of Slam, and it's just, boy, oh boy, does it make you a little uneasy, but they proved that those three could race.
Yeah, it was incredible. I think this is the first time we've seen three Mies on the podium together as well. So, I mean, in the Saudi Open of all events, that's a first for racing. I mean, usually we're used to those classic characters, the Bowsers, all those kind of people, the Donkey Hogs. I mean, I guess, well, for those who have watched him, I'm thinking of him Donkey Hogs, but Special Tay, the whole Donkey family. But boy, oh boy, it's just one of those things that seeing those three Mies on this podium, it's almost like when you see a cyborg or a robot and it's almost human and you're just like, there's something not quite right here. They're smiling differently. They're dancing around in weird ways. And, oh, those smiles, like you said, they're fun. And I mean, the Carter brothers, and Pam is quite a looker. There's a little bit of I think that we should note there's a little bit of a difference between the Carter brothers and Pam in terms of how we're seeing them. But those Carter brothers, they've got just the expressions and they've got something off about them that's just a little weird, but it's exciting and it's compelling to watch those clips of them together. I just couldn't get enough of it.
And you sort of had the robot analogy, and that's one thing that I followed closely is the development of, female robots as sort of replacing, human girls, because it's like they can't dump you. They're programmed. And then I dated one, and it did dump me, a robot. So I don't know. That's something. It kind of hits close to home when you talk about somebody being uneasy about the robots. They're so close. They're so close. You're dancing with one, you're sleeping with one, but it just doesn't. It felt real, but it wasn't real to her, and they can't process emotions because she, based on her programming, should have loved me.
Yeah.
And she didn't. So something malfunctioned, and they just are not quite there. They can't reciprocate love. So
that's a bit concerning for a number of reasons. Are you sure there wasn't a hack there, or like what happened to this robot?
No, they said they'd never seen anything like it. That it became a sentient being when
it's kind of like it was programmed within a threshold of love. And that threshold was
programmed for unconditional love, because I guess there's like a loneliness epidemic. So it was something that it should not have. Was this
prescribed by a doctor to you, or?
No, I went out and got it, but it's, apparently it was like revolutionary technology, unconditional love.
Okay.
And it worked millions of times before. But I actually shut down the product line because they said, like, they had to stop making this robot. But it was doing a lot of good for the loneliness epidemic. But then, one sort of evolved, I guess.
It's you pushed it to such a limit of unconditional love. I guess That's an interesting
No, it
philosophical
was faulty
question to
technology.
see sort of. Yeah, I don't know. This is not exactly what I was thinking you were going to talk about, but it's always nice to get an insight into the life behind the track because we're but